Today, we're going to look at some one-hit wonder pop-punk songs from the early 2000s. Let's check it. There have been so many infamous pop-punk bands to come out of the late 90s and the early 2000s. It was definitely a sound that defined a generation. Bands like Blink-182 and Green Day, who were known for dozens upon dozens of hits throughout the decades. But today, we're not looking at the heavy hitters, the big songs, the big bands. We're looking at the bands who, you know the song, you might not even know the band. They're just the one-hit wonder guys that came out with that one amazing song during a time period. This list, by the way, is so big that when I wrote it, I have to split it into two parts. So here's part one, and we'll just link up part two whenever it's done. And then you can come back here if you're checking out part two first. Anyway, without further ado, here's part one. Let's check it. The first song I have to talk about is CHORNIC Future's Time and Time Again. It was from the band's 2004 album, Lines in My Face, from the major label Interscope Records. Bands were being sucked up by major labels all over the place at the time, being dropped on major festivals like Lollapalooza and the Vans Warped Tour, and Riot Fest in Chicago. The single was plastered all over major radio at the time. MTV and MTV2 sucked it up, and it reached number 40 on the Billboard Modern Rock charts, as well as was featured in the video games Burnout 3 and MVP Baseball 4. It was a baseball game, but the band was let go from Interscope Records in 2006 for unknown reasons, according to Wikipedia. Had a brief stint of an independent work before having a hiatus in 2009 to 2014, where they broke up for a small period of time, and then came back together for only 1 year and had their final show at the Rebel Lounge in Phoenix, Arizona, the day after Christmas in 2015. FINCH's What It Is to Burn. What It Is to Burn was from FINCH's 2002 album from the same name. Preceded by the music video for Letters to You in January 2002, the song from the same album, What It Is to Burn, was released on March 12th as a joint release between MCA and Drive-Thru Records. Again, Drive-Thru Records, a smaller independent label, MCA, a bigger major label, and they were pushing bands like this. During that time, the band would go on the tour with such pop-punk royalty as Brand New, The Used, New Found Glory, and The Starting Line, who were also getting their start as, pop-punk bands that were blowing up. The band performed on Jimmy Kimmel and Last Call with Carson Daly, and over the years the band went through a couple of hiatuses before a final breakup in 2016 where lead singer Nate Barclow privately announced on Instagram that FINCH had broken up and had posted 9 demo songs that were unreleased. They were scrapped for a record that was supposed to come out, and those were all dropped on October of 2016, and I think they're still out now. Next up is Ridlin Kids, I Feel Fine. My friend Gene turned me on to this song. It was like a random pop punk song that was like, it's just so good, so poppy, so punchy. It was like a song of that time. Like if you ever wanted to carbon date a song from that period, that real poppy sound, this is definitely it. The song was released from the band's 2002 debut album, Hurry Up and Wait. The song got a whole lot of traction because it was a lot of record labels and a lot of like movies and TV shows and video games and stuff were like sucking up these like unknown bands and trying to throw them out there. Blink-182 happened with American Pie. Dashboard Confessional happened with the Spider-Man films. And Orange County did this, the movie with Colin Hanks, did this with the Ridlin Kids song. The video got a lot of play on MTV and MTV2. I remember first seeing it on MTV's website in like 360p. The band ended up getting another single which got a whole lot of airplay called Pick Up the Pieces off of the same album, which was featured on ATV Off-Road Fury 2 and in the movie Extreme Ops featuring Devon Sawa. Fortunately, like other bands on this list, after heavy touring over 5 or 6 years, the band decided they wanted to break up. They promoted a couple albums, but they agreed that they were burnt out, and in August of 2005, the band called it quits. Next up is LOSTPROPHETS, Rooftops. I feel like I almost have to start this one off by saying there's a trigger warning in it. Without talking too much about any particular member of the band, this song, Rooftops, was everywhere in the early 2000s. Taken from the band's third full-length studio album, Liberation Transmission, which was released in 2006. The song entered the UK single charts and ended up at number 8 overall, making it the highest performing LOSTPROPHETS song to date. It was nominated for a Kerrang Award for Best Single, and the band had commercial success and extensive touring with the likes of Paramore, My Chemical Romance, as well as being signed to Fearless Records in 2012. In December, this is where the trigger warning comes in, December 2012, lead singer Ian Watkins was charged with sexual offenses against children and possessing indecent images of children with extreme animal pornography. I don't even want to think what the hell that is. But he was sentenced in 2013 to 29 years in prison, as well as a 6-year follow-up where he would be registered as a sex offender. American Hi-Fi's Flavor of the Week. This song was all over the place. It was on every single TV show, every bumper for the NBA and the NFL and the MLB and the NHL. It was on video games. It was in movies. You name it, it was there. Flavor of the Week was released in 2001 on the band's self-titled record, and it was the band's debut single. Holy shit, it blew up everywhere. The song ran up the Hot Modern Rock charts and Billboard and topped Peaking 100 at number 41. Following the release, the band toured with the likes of Eve 6 and Our Lady Peace, and released a follow-up single, Another Perfect Day, later that year. You guys probably know that song too. It was all over the place. 2 singles in a row from their debut record, and they blew up everywhere. The song was featured in a number of Boston Republic episodes. That's probably where you know it's from. It was the main track for the American Pie 2 movie, which is also where you heard it from. The band has remained active, and even as late as 2020 released a new record, the Anywhere Else But Here EP, which is an album of cover songs. And you can check that out everywhere. Next up is Sparks the Rescue, Loves Like Vampires, from the band's 2009 album Eyes of the Sun, which was originally released as the band's first album under another record label, Double Blind Music, in 2008, before being released in 2009 under Fearless Records, where they retracked and re-recorded everything for the album release. In 2009, MTV announced Sparks the Rescue as the official winner of the 2009 I Want My Music on MTV competition, stating that the band will rub elbows at the 2009 Woody Awards. The band went on later to tour with the likes of All American Rejects, Sum 41, and Mayday Parade. The band has been on and off a ton, departed from Fearless Records and went independent, and had a bunch of lineup changes. These days the band still plays under Sparks the Rescue name. Oh, they just play cover songs and stuff off of Eyes of the Sun. Though as early as June of 2021, the band posted a few group photos, as well as some photos from the studio with the caption, "Like riding a bike." Which leaves us to wonder if the band is up to writing and recording new stuff after the pandemic. I know a lot of bands are doing this, that they broke up and now they're getting back together. I think that a pandemic that messed up a whole lot of things in the world kind of brings one back to core and realizes what's meaningful in their life and what's worth saving. Next up is a song that won't die, WHEATUS' Teenage Dirtbag. From the band's 1999 self-titled record via Columbia Records, Teenage Dirtbag at this point is a song that has spewed into a multi-generational soundtrack. My kid loves this song. She's 9. My niece is 16. She also loves this song. The song gained commercial success from being the main soundtrack and based off of the 2000 movie Loser, featuring Jason Biggs, the loser, and Mina Savari, the love interest. It's like the teenage rom-com movies that were going on at the time, like American Pie. The song's origins go back to 1984, where lead singer / guitarist Brendan Brown had an experience. He said in a 2012 interview, Teenage Dirtbag is about a experience that the lead singer had. He told this interview to Tone Deaf, quote, "It came from the summer of 1984 in Long Island when I was 10 years old. That summer, in the woods behind my house, there is a satanic, drug-induced ritual teen homicide that went down. And the kid who did it was called Ricky Casso. And he was arrested wearing an AC/DC t-shirt. That made all the papers and television, obviously. And here I was, 10 years old, walking around with a case full of AC/DC, Iron Maiden, and Metallica songs. And all the parents and teachers and the cops thought I was in some kind of satanic worshiper." So that's the backdrop for the song. Brown also added that the choruses in the sing-along part remain kind of a defiance. He goes on to say, "When I sing, I'm just a teenage dirtbag, I'm effectively saying, yeah, fuck you. If you don't like it, just because I like AC/DC, doesn't mean I'm a devil worshiper and you're a fucking idiot." That's one of the reasons why I think the song has carried over to a multi-generational anthem, I guess you could say. Every teenager goes through their outsider phase. This song has also been covered by a slew of bands, from everyone from 5 Seconds of Summer and One Direction to All Time Low. Weezer and As It Is, well, Patty from As It Is covered this. The band also still plays the song to this day and has recut the tune in 2020 during the pandemic and is currently on tour, as of the recording of this, in August, with Everclear, Hoobastank, and Living Color on the Summerland tour, who are also a bunch of amazing bands. SR51's Right Now, from the band's debut album So You See Inside, in the year 2000 via RCA Records, with the album peaking at 81 on the Billboard charts and number 2 on Billboard Heatseekers. The song was co-written by frontman Mitch Allen and songwriter Butch Walker. I didn't know that. And peaked at number 2 in the modern rock charts and 38 on rock mainstream. The tune, in my opinion, was one of those quintessential songs that arrived at the dawn of the alt-rock meets pop-punk 2000s era and was spewed all over major radio. MTV and later MTV2 picked it up, and it was featured in TV, video games, and major motion film throughout the years, including the 2000 film Loser, again, previously mentioned, Dude, Where's My Car, and Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle. It was also featured in the video game Splashdown, MTV Sports, TJ Lavin's Ultimate BMX. It was also the official theme song for the Schnitz Show, hosted by Todd Schnitt. Also, if you guys didn't know this, side note about SR71, the song 1985 by Bowling for Soup was actually originated and written by SR71. Bowling for Soup picked it up and made it a mainstream song. You should check out this song if you haven't heard it. I know you've heard it before. And you should check out the original version of 1985. Speaking of Bowling for Soup, kind of, because they also cover this song, is Fountain of Wayne's Stacys Mom. From the band's third studio album in 2003, Welcome Interstate Managers, via S-Curve and Virgin Records. They were signed to Virgin Records, it's huge. The song was the first single from the album and immediately blew up all over commercial radio, as well as MTV, MTV2, all of the college stations. K-Rock picked it up and landed 21 on the Billboard charts Top 100 and became the highest charting hit in the band's history. The subject matter of the song was inspired by a friend of Adam Schlesinger, the lead singer, bass player of the song, when he was young, and the person was attracted to his grandmother. The video features several comedic scenes illustrating a boy's attempt to get closer to Stacey's mother. If you haven't seen it, you gotta go see it. There's definitely like a bunch of like 80s, 90s references. The song itself is definitely 80s inspired. The band went on a ton of tours, and in 2016 the band officially issued a breakup statement, but never ruled out the possibility for a future reunion. Sadly, a reunion of the original lineup will never happen, because in 2020 founding member Adam Schlesinger died due to complications of the COVID-19 virus. He was only 52 years old. It's really sad to see, especially someone who was so young, and this pandemic, I mean, it affects everybody. This is a really tough one for me. Just because of all of the songs that he's written throughout his entire career. If you don't know who Adam is, go look up his credits. It's amazing. But the song will still live on. It's a big part of the early 2000s pop punk revitalization, and it's been covered by none other than Bowling for Soup. Jared was a personal friend of Adam, and it's great to see that this song lives on with that band. Last but not least, I have to talk about it. It's Lit, My Own Worst Enemy. This song, I think every pop punk band has covered it at some point in their career. Every garage rock band, every cover band, bar band has covered it at some point in their career. And it's from the band's second studio album, A Place in the Sun, released in 1999 via RCA Records. It was the band's first release onto a major label, and it peaked at number 31 on the Billboard 200, and My Own Worst Enemy itself reached number 1 on Billboard rock charts and stayed there for 11 weeks. The band explained about the song and what was going on. According to Lit guitarist Jeremy Popoff, My Own Worst Enemy is a result of waking up and realizing you screwed up really bad the night before. The first verse is about screwing up with your chick, and it was definitely a combination of many, many incidents. Vocalist Jay Popoff said, "Sometimes I get myself in trouble when I get naked in public and I have a girl there. It happens when I've been drinking a whole lot of Jägermeister. I actually sang My Own Worst Enemy naked in the studio." The singer said that the song's second verse is about the morning after, when you wake up and you hear all of the lame shit that you did. We've all been there. I think this is why the song is definitely so relatable. I think it's definitely a song that won't die. And if you want to hear more about the song, and you guys are out there or into podcasts, my good friend Chris Fafalius is a producer for Chris DeMakes, a podcast. Chris DeMakes is in Less Than Jake, and he actually interviewed the guys from Lit about this song. I'll link that up below. It's on Spotify, Apple, all that stuff. It's incredible. You have to hear just the writing process and all this about the song. It's pretty amazing. But anyway, guys, that's my list. I have 10 more to throw at you. If I missed any, throw them in the comments below. Maybe I missed them on part 2. Keep a watch out for part 2. And let's roll the outro, guys. Later. Hey guys, we're at that part of the video where you should like and subscribe. And after the video is over, comment on some stuff. What did you like? What did you not like? What should I do next? Something like that. There's more to this channel than just the whole YouTube thing. I post daily blogs on thepoppunkdad.com, which features daily reviews and interviews from awesome bands from around the globe. Head on over to the Pop Punk Dad merch shop where you can find cool things like that right there. It helps the channel out and it lets me know that you love me. I have a weekly podcast called the Pop Punk Dadcast, which is on Spotify, SoundCloud, and iTunes. Please subscribe. And hey, while you're at it, after this video, cruise on around and check out other content that tickles your fancy. Interviews with awesome bands, vlogs, cover songs, and more. You can check out all my socials, my IG, my FB, my Snapchat, and my Twitter at the Pop Punk Dad. And above all else, guys, stay pop punk. Later.